Hey there, people of the interwebs. It's me, Brandon Noel. If this is your first time listening to us, we are the Bookies, a book club themed podcast. We have nothing to do with online betting or gambling. This episode is The Killing Floor by Lee Child. This episode is about the first book in the Jack Reacher series. This one's got a bit of a mature rating. Just going to throw that up there up front. If you have small ones at home, make sure they're not looking at the TV. The images may be too graphic. With that said, this was a fun read. Really enjoyed the series. Probably going to keep going on with more Jack Reacher novels. Has nothing to do with the Amazon Prime TV show. And speaking of Amazon Prime, you can get a lot of our books on Amazon.com. That's right. You can get everything from the 8-Bit Pulp series, from Flatfoot McGee to Mr. Cuddles, or my novella, The Captain and the Legend of the Highwayman, available now on Amazon.com. Or you can go to Patreon.com /Destiny Comics, that's comics, C-O-M-I-X, where you can support this podcast directly and get all your book paraphernalia needs. Want to thank you and every other listener for your support. We can't do it without listeners like you. With that said, we're going to jump right into this, the newest episode, our current episode. Normally we go up monthly, but we're kind of weekly catching up. With that said, this is Lee Child's The Killing Floor, followed by Die Trying. Hope you enjoy this episode. And once again, thank you for your support. Like and subscribes go a long way, especially to a little podcast that does weird numbers. I don't want to get into the metrics, but people basically don't follow us. They listen for their favorite book, and that's it. So it means some books, some episodes have huge downloads, and then some don't, like Tarzan, which breaks my heart because it's one of my favorites. Absolutely loved that book, and that episode didn't get nearly enough downloads. Not a lot of Tarzan fans out there today. But with that said, we're going to move forward into this episode, Lee Child's The Killing Floor.
Laugh has been described as a chuckle.
Right.
The British guy, I know.
Yeah, you know, that one British guy. Well, there's a British teenager.
If you feel the need to read it,
check it out from the library.
I don't support your local.
Told the parent. No. And we are the Bookies. It's the Donald Duck that, there's a character in Donald Duck called Gladstone. I can't remember.
Was Adam Hughes' brother John Hughes?
No, I don't think so.
I'm just saying, if I had that power, I would be pissed.
But the Donald Duck character was always lucky, and Donald Duck was always unlucky, and so Adam Hughes was kind of playing off of that, kind of the 2-in-1. Okay, we are the Bookies. I am Brandon Noel,
Justin Stallard,
Bonnie Stallard,
Wayne Abraham,
David McFarland,
Maylene Noel.
and once again, we are the Bookies. This month we are reading The Killing Floor, the first Jack Reacher novel. Justin, you put this one in the
By author Lee Child.
Lee Child. Thank
Child,
you.
Yes.
You put this in contention or in the TARDIS?
Contention.
In the ring.
In the ring.
In the
You
ring.
want to give us a plot synopsis?
Basically, you have this guy who has spent his entire childhood as a army brat and most of his adult life up to the point of the book in the military. He had never lived in the U.S. He'd always been on bases around the world. He was born in Germany on an American base, so even though he was a U.S. citizen, he had never actually
Gotten to see his country.
got to see the country that he'd been fighting for. And after 15 years of service, they discharged him just because political views the way they were downsizing the military. So he's
Using his pension.
using his pension to hobo around the country.
Fun fact, I think the term is bowing. Sorry. Hoboing. I think the
Hoboing?
proper term is bowing.
Hoboing.
Bowing.
But he is very adamant that he is a hobo.
But he's very adamant in the book that he's not a vagrant. He's not this. He is a hobo. It's brought
Just
up a
thought I'd
couple
throw that
times.
out there.
Transient.
And he runs into this.
He gets to this town.
He goes to a town looking for a musician named history of a musician named Blind Blake, who had died back in the 20s or 30s.
Or something like that.
Who had
A
died.
long time ago.
And he was a blind guitar player, and he'd heard music at where he was, so he hopped on a bus and went to
Margrave,
Georgia, to look for information about Blind Blake.
We from Georgia.
And there's a murder and
That happened before he got there.
that happened before he got there, but he gets arrested for it, and there's conspiracy and counterfeiting and more murders and
Really graphic ones.
some pretty graphic ones, yeah.
And he solves the case in the end.
Yay!
Pretty much.
Murderers, boo. He solves them, yay.
Yeah.
He commits them too.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
see,
several of those things.
what, 6 or 7
Lots of bad guys.
of his own while he's there? And
Something like that.
I thought it was an interesting book at the time, and I figured I would share it.
Right.
Right, what did you like most?
You didn't write any notes.
I never write notes because I'm always when I'm actually reading a hard copy, I don't think about it, and then when I'm listening to it, I can't because I'm usually driving or doing something else. But I have read the book once and listened to it at least 3 times. So
I think you hate
Well,
it.
if you've listened to it 3 times, there's got to be something for you that keeps bringing you back.
yeah, and part of it is the character himself. I like the character. He's honest. He doesn't believe in what's the term for it? Jumping around the hedges or pussyfooting around, or I'm not.
He gives it straight.
He gives it to you straight.
He's
a
very
straight
blunt.
shooter.
He's very blunt, very direct.
Doesn't have the greatest social skills,
He doesn't have very good social skills.
depending on the situation.
And he won't necessarily lie, but he won't necessarily tell you the truth unless it needs to be told. But he's not going to tell a flat out lie, so to speak. But
Well, unless he needs to find out information.
right. But he just, I don't know, he seemed
is he convinces the one cop to lie on the phone to get the.
Yes.
He's like, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just call and pretend you're the cable or the phone company.
Yeah. And
Confirm a name and address.
one of the things.
That's the only time he doesn't lie about other things. Just when he's doing investigation, if it's
Right.
going to get him in the door, get him the answers he needs.
Right.
It's the only time he does it.
But
True,
I forgot to mention that while he was in the military, he was a special investigator.
No one messes with the special investigators.
That comes later.
Book 2, I know.
No, that's
Season 2.
actually season 2, but that
Lots of books later.
That's several books later.
Well, that's okay.
Who's counting?
Actually, it's nearly 3 years after this book. So
Okay.
the second book takes place like 6 months later.
Oh, okay.
But that's a different
Totally
book.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Still fun. Sorry. He was a special investigator.
I like the fact that in the books, even though the book is written by a British person, which draws to some complaints later, but
I didn't know that.
yeah, Lee Child is British.
That didn't because this book comes off as pretty patriotic.
Yeah, but he pulls that off very well.
There's other things he doesn't.
But there's other things.
Okay, I didn't pick up on that. You can,
But the fight scenes are very well thought out, very straightforward and blunt, very believable. So that's
yeah.
that's part of the thing I like. I'm gonna let Bonnie go real quick while I'll come up with some more.
All right, well, I'll throw it out there. What's your favorite fight scene?
Oh, that's hard.
Because the book's 2/3 fight scenes.
Yeah, I would have to say it's a toss-up between the fight scene in the jail bathroom
Oh man, that's a good scene.
or the fight scene in the Hubble House.
That's the first one that popped in my head.
That was the first one that popped in my head,
Two
too.
favorite ones there.
Dang, that was a good scene.
The fight scene in the jail was if you combine the scene from the jail cell to the thing, it's technically it could be all one, just stretched out. But that's part of the reason I liked the fact that he headbutts the guy and then doesn't. And in movies and other books, you headbutt somebody and like, yeah, I'm doing good. But in this one, he headbutts the guy and he's got to go to the bathroom to soak his forehead because, damn, that hurts. Because nobody wins in a headbutt.
Yeah.
That's one thing that always bothers me when I see a headbutt in a TV show or movie. Like, they're all fine afterwards.
Why doesn't he have a black and blue purple goose egg forming on his head?
Yeah, and I'm sort of thinking, if I get hit with a ping pong ball, it doesn't hurt, but like at the same time, I'm like, oh, slightly taken aback at least, you know? That's just a ping pong ball. I can't imagine hitting someone else's skull.
But when you take your skull and smash somebody's nose with it, yes, it does great damage to your opponent, but it is going to leave a mark on you and hurt as well.
It always seemed to me like the least effective thing. I mean, if you have to do it, you have to do it, but like it seems like the worst way to hit someone is with your own face. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, again, the arch of the forehead
is very strong.
Very strong. And there are a lot of tiny bones in your fist that easily break in a bare knuckle
but it's
fist
also
fight.
easy to break the skin right here, and you'll start bleeding profusely, and it'll get in your eyes, and maybe that's just the way I'm thinking.
That's a possible side effect.
It is. It doesn't happen that often.
It doesn't happen. That's
depending on how hard you hit, maybe.
And
because you have to hit something at a weird angle.
The fact that the author put in thought about the bare knuckle fighting, strike with the palm of your hand instead of your fist because you're going to break bone if you hit somebody in the face possibly, and so it was the guy did his research in that regard, and we'll go into the things that he didn't research in the other regard later on. Bonnie?
Yeah. Hi. Sorry, I had to deal with something. I like Reacher. I like Reacher a lot. I actually really like Finley too, and I like the relationship that builds between the two of them, where they're just like, at odds at the beginning, and just, but by the end they've worked through all that. Everyone here has finished the book except Wayne, who's almost done. And I think you're already past this part. My favorite part is his talk with the barber's sister.
Yes, that's a good part.
That is my favorite part. And it's not in the show, which they just should have added it. Because the whole point of him coming to Margrave was to find out what happened to Blind Blake. And he actually does. You don't expect that. That's the thing. You don't expect him to find it out. Because you're like, well, he's all this stuff is going, all this. And in the middle of them planning, and they're spending the night at the barber, and the barber's like, someone's here to see you. It's my sister. She wants to talk to you. And she tells him what happened because she was there. And they end up getting revenge for that too. And I love that. I love that so much. He really wrote some good villains. I knew Picard was bad from straight off.
Of course he did.
I didn't.
Because...
Did he chuckle? I'm gonna be so pissed if he chuckled.
No, because Finley had said, yeah, he's my buddy. He gave me best advice I ever got. Don't take the Margrave job. And then when Reacher meets him, he's like, I told him not to take the Margrave job. And I just, because it was repeated, I'm like, he's a bad guy. He knows, he's in on it. And then when he was, he's like, yeah, I told him. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Because he said that way back at the beginning of this book, and I figured it out. Big baddie.
Foreshadowing.
Yes, foreshadowing. Yeah. But the thing is that I catch the little foreshadowing.
Doesn't it kind of suck?
Sometimes
it seems
it
like
does.
to me it ruins the surprise.
Sometimes it does, which is why when an author surprises me with something, I love it more. Which is probably why the finding out exactly what happened by Blind Blake, because I figured we weren't going to find that out. The fact that we did was a surprise, which is why it's...
Because you're thinking at that point the whole Blind Blake thing is just...
It was just a reason to get him there.
Yeah, it's
not... Go on.
Or you think if they do find it might be this little 2-second thing at the end of the book. Like,
I didn't expect it to happen.
Yeah.
I'm
just saying, if it did happen, it's like,
but then it's like...
It's the inciting incident. That's
exactly.
all it is.
That's all it is. You're not going to find out. So when you found out, I was like, well, how about that? That was a great part of the story. I'm glad they added that in. Yeah. And I would have to say my favorite fight scenes were the same ones Justin said. Oh, man, those were good.
They were both pretty good
There were
scenes.
some good fight scenes. Yeah, there were some good fight scenes. I liked it. Showed how well he's good at tracking people down.
Yeah.
Because he just spent 24 hours. But they didn't spend the whole weekend, did they? They got him out early, didn't they?
Yeah.
When they found Hubble?
Yeah. Wait, so he only spent, 24 hours with Hubble?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Part of that time he slept.
Yeah.
So you're looking at, he spent less than 2 days with this guy, but the guy wouldn't stop talking, and he knew just enough to be able to track him down.
Yeah.
And he did.
And he's real good at his
He's
job.
really good at what his job was. I'm like, that was good. That was
I was
impressive.
a little bit
that.
overboard there, but I liked it.
I felt like it showed how skilled he was with what he did before.
Yeah.
Basically,
I like
he's
that.
retired, but now all of a sudden he's unretired.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
Because I've been doing this for 13 or 15 years.
Yeah. And here I gotta do it again because people's lives are on the line. This sucks. Yeah. So, but there was so much to it, and the whole out of one many thing. It took them a while to figure that out. I'm like, come on, guys, you'll get there. But that's okay.
I will say that I felt kind of the same, only because that's like the one bit of one of like 2 bits of Latin I know. The e pluribus unum is supposed to be out of many one.
Yes, but
come on, guys, you get it.
Unum pluribus, out of one many, but you know what that means.
He says it pretty often.
Yes, but they don't figure out what it means. And I'm like, come on, guys. But it's not the first thing I've ever come across with counterfeiting. And people washing the ones into making them bigger. I've seen it before on TV shows and things. I've seen that happen. So I had it.
I haven't.
I have. Castle, season 1. Maybe season 2. Anyway, I think it's season 1. So because that's something I've seen before, I had it figured out.
They probably copied off of him.
It was people who ran a vending machine business, and they.
Oh, but the people on the castle.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Maybe not. I mean,
I've seen, they did something kind of like that in Catch Me If You Can. A little bit. It was a little different, but it was similar. So.
Yeah, the check cashing.
And so I've seen some of that stuff. So anyway, but that's okay. It was good. He does write some good villains though, because the Kleiners, man, psychopaths. Wow.
You mean you get the warm fuzzies reading about them?
No, I feel bad for Mrs. Kleiner. Jeez, that poor woman. She has to live in a house with those creeps. No wonder she looks sick all the time. She's scared. Reach her head, it pinned right away. Nobody else did, but he did. Anyway, I enjoyed the story. All right, you are almost done, but you're done enough. You can tell us what you liked about it.
I'm 96% done.
Almost there.
So
all right.
close.
So close.
No, I actually enjoyed it. It was well written, and I enjoyed the reading of it. So, learned a lot more about counterfeiting than I knew.
Right? They actually give us a lot of information in there.
So.
Do you feel like you can now go out and utilize those skills if you had to?
No. But it was interesting. When they got it figured out, 9 of the 10, I wasn't sure who the 10 was going to be, but I was number 10, but I was like, they're going to make it one of the good guys' team. Is going to end up being the 10th person of the bad guys. And
Picard.
Guess what?
Rotter.
It was.
Yep.
I did momentarily wonder about Finley. Just because I was like, knowing my track record of not guessing what a lot of people would say is the obvious choice, I'm like, oh, it's going to be Finley. Just that's the only thing I had. Honestly, going, I was like, it's like one of those things where it's so obvious I should have seen it from the beginning, But
shouldn't have taken the Margaret job.
Right.
So, I enjoyed it. It's a good read.
You have a favorite part, favorite character?
I liked the professor that he helped rescue and then got to talk with. I enjoyed that scene, that conversation betwixt them.
That was a good conversation.
And it primed him to glean information from the books that he found in Hubble's home. If it hadn't been for that meeting, he wouldn't have discovered that and wouldn't have figured out what they were doing.
Right.
So, I liked that one. David?
If you want to keep it going, favorite fight scene?
You have a favorite fight?
I like the ambush he planned by the copse of trees.
Oh, that was a good ambush against the.
Oh yeah.
What were they, Colombians?
Yeah,
the two
Argentinians.
Two Colombians that
Venezuelans.
Venezuelans, that were following him.
That was good. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of brutal when he had to make him fit in the trunk.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Just imagine him like, I'll make you fit. Dropping an elbow on them. Get in there.
It was like that in the show. You should see the show. It was good. Not dropping an elbow, but it was interesting making them fit.
I just, in my mind, it's more comical in my mind than it actually describes. I imagine him running toward the trunk and then jumping on top of it. Get in there.
David?
Okay, yeah, I enjoyed the book. I like the fact that Reacher was one of those typical hero guys that always kicked ass. Because, I mean, typically you always see these good guy movies where, yeah, they're pretty big, then they get their ass kicked, and then they make a comeback, and they save the day at the end. Now, this whole thing, he just kicked ass through the whole thing, and I like that. And I noticed that he's very observant. He's highly observant. I just like that in the book. They made him a really tough guy, but I like the TV show better. But
the guy who plays him in the show is good. Does the job.
Most definitely better.
Aquaman. No, he was the original Aquaman on Smallville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's my Aquaman.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't mean.
But I liked how the book had a lot of surprises where I'm like, oh wow, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that in there.
Yeah, me too.
There was a lot of that in there. I mean, I was surprised when the dead guy, he found out it was his brother. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
And then when the chief, because I thought the chief of police at the beginning was like all in on, and he was, but then they killed him off too. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't see that coming.
You expected him to have more of a part and last longer in the show.
Because when you first meet him, you get that whole boss hog kind of vibe.
Yeah. The book was really easy to read and easy to follow.
So it's good.
I liked how he was describing how money laundering, how to counterfeit money was made. And that was interesting, but I still was I'm trying to like follow the way he's thinking too. Is like how are they doing this? But when they were saying, oh wow, the money's the same size, when they explained that in the book, the money's the same size, and I go, oh, they're bleaching $1 bills. But I never heard of any other story because I watch TV and stuff, but I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't see the bleaching coming at all.
No, I didn't see that coming at all either. So when they mentioned the U.S. currency were all the same size, I knew they were bleaching off $1 bills and reprinting them for $100 bills, and I thought that was pretty clever. Right. I never saw that before.
And it makes sense because, like, okay, at least when they check it, they'll know it's the same material.
An interesting point that they brought up in the TV show is they weren't counterfeiting just any $100 bill, but it had to be a $100 bill before a certain date.
Yeah, because it didn't have the security strips and stuff. Yeah, it didn't have the magnetic strips in it.
They were making old money.
Yeah,
which I thought was an interesting.
Which I think that has to come with the fact that the TV show was updated.
Yeah, it's more recent than the book.
Because the book there was no.
But but if it was a thing really happening when the book was written, that would have been something they would have had to take into consideration too. So it's very believable.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was pretty good. So, my favorite fight scene, I would have to say, would be the prison. Yeah. I like the prison fight scene.
Which one?
Well, the one in the first one in the cell is really just a skirmish, so to speak.
Yeah, but it was still a fight scene.
Yeah.
No, it was more of a headbutt, and then you take your man and go.
Right, but the the bathroom one was intense, and it was a good way to start things off.
That's the prison scene.
Yeah.
It was pretty brutal.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with some of the scene of that would really happen, like you with the headbutting thing. Like, no, you would have been hurting. I mean, I like the fact that I got a headache. I need to lay down, kind of thing.
You want to put some cold water on it.
That was some good attention to detail, but a lot of the prison there, they don't really have ceramic sinks for you to bash their head on.
Right.
They just don't have it, and the cells are a lot smaller than that. But other than that, it was pretty good. Maylene?
All right. Well, I like, as was mentioned, that it was an easier read than I anticipated. Like, because it was actually recommended to me by a friend. And so I read before I knew it was going to be in book club. And, sometimes, I don't know about anybody else, because I know we got some people who listen to audiobooks, but I prefer to read my books because I feel like with audiobooks, it's too easy for me to get distracted. Like and
it's cheating.
It's not cheating. We're auditorial learners. It takes a lot longer for somebody who's got dyslexia to read a novel. Otherwise, we'd still be on book 5 of book club.
Right. And that's the other thing. For me, I'm a visual learner, so I have to see it. So it's a lot easier for me to maintain the information if I'm reading it physically versus sometimes auditory helps, but most of the time, it's got to be physical for me. So when I get a book like this that is, bigger than what I usually read, your average book is what, like 300 pages? Yeah.
This one's what, 650?
So yeah,
500
depending on which book, which version you have. Yeah.
Yeah, mine was 524.
So whenever I get one that's over 500, 600, 700 pages, sometimes I feel like, oh, that's a bit daunting because I'm not the fastest reader, because I know, okay, this is going to take me a while. So the fact that it was so easy to get through, made it so much better for me. Like, I wasn't it wasn't one of those things where I was forcing myself to get through, I got to get through this much, in this many days. It didn't feel like that for me. It felt like, the story was interesting enough. It wasn't there weren't scenes where I felt like, oh my gosh, he's taking 5 pages to describe where he's staying,
Right.
Can you, So
and it's just a cheap hotel room. Why do we need that?
Right.
I don't. Did it actually have chapters, or was it just?
Mine did.
Yeah, there's chapters.
Shorter.
But
they were short.
Because I've read books like that where I'm like, I don't even know what color that is. What color is that? Is that a blue? Is that?
Oh, that's puce.
Yeah. Oh, that's puce. Exactly.
I don't know what that is.
It's kind of like mauve.
I don't even know what that is either.
It was a quote from Monsters Inc. that I was
they'll say, a color, like a shade. And I'm like, not everybody knows what that shade is. Okay.
The majority of people don't know.
I do happen to know what mauve is, but for Monsters Inc., I wouldn't know what puce was.
Right.
Is that like green? Because it sounds like puke. I don't know. I can't picture what puce is.
Why would anyone care?
It's like,
If you got to paint a house puce.
Well,
and if I have to paint it that, and I don't even know what it is. It's obviously an HOA, and I'm not living there.
So I love when books, even longer books, are not like that. When you're not sitting there when you're not reading a scene and thinking, I don't care, So none of this felt like that for me. Which I always appreciate. I felt like none of it was extenuous. Like there weren't whole chapters where I was like, oh, that was useless, I did love, as far as the fight scenes, I know it's been said multiple times, but I did love the bathroom fight scene because, first of all, I was like, I didn't expect it to be that bloody or that, but it was, the whole time I was like, okay, that's cool. I like picturing it in my head. It was one of the few fight scenes I could picture move for move in my head,
Mm-hmm.
And I really did enjoy also the fight scene in the house when he's piling up the bodies. Yeah. I'm like, he's got another one down, another one down, another one down.
We'll get to that.
So
the other one bites the dust.
As far as the characters, as far as scenes, one of my favorite scenes was actually the opening scene where he got arrested.
Yeah.
because
And doesn't get to eat his pie.
he doesn't get to eat his pie. Yeah, partly because I love a story where, especially one that's over so many pages long. Okay, we're going. We're hitting the ground running. We're not taking,
Right.
50 pages to set the
In the
scene.
long ago and far away of blah, blah, blah,
Exactly.
blah, blah.
We're not taking 50 pages to set the scene. Okay, let's go. Let's hit the ground running kind of thing. So, yeah, I think that's my main thing is I love the pace. I love the characters. I think Reacher would... I would definitely read more Reacher novels because the character himself I think is fun.
Well, it helps that there's a TV program too.
I will watch. Like I said, I didn't want to watch the TV show and get the book of the show confused.
It's really close. They just changed a couple things here.
Yeah.
And fixed a few things too.
Yeah.
That's good.
I saw the first season before we read the book.
Yeah, I did too. And I've seen it since.
I haven't seen the second season.
We
yet.
just started the second season.
And one thing I like is I actually like how realistic they kept the relationship between him and the female.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, this was just kind of like a here thing.
Short whirlwind.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, they ultimately wanted different things, so
Yeah.
it wasn't going to work.
they both
Which
knew.
is sad.
They both knew. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Like,
David didn't like that.
I don't. I felt it was realistic because there are whirlwind romances. Yeah, I like it, of course. When a romance is awesome, but it's not always realistic. Sometimes it is what it is in the moment. And I know a lot of people prefer the happier ending, but it's okay. Not everyone gets that happily ever after at the end of a book. Maybe it comes later. Knowing that there are other Jack Reacher books, maybe it comes later. I don't know.
Or maybe he has a girl in every port. I don't know yet.
Maybe.
Either.
He has a girl in every
So far.
But hey, that's very Bond. Okay,
Very James Bond to him, yes.
It's okay to have someone in every port as long as everyone as long as everyone knows and understands. Hey, this is just what I'm here thing. Don't,
Yep.
As long as everyone's cool with it, cool.
Yep.
So go
He's
ahead.
a hobo.
He's a bow.
hobo.
He's bowing around.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
This is a really good power fantasy. Like it hits all the notches that you need to hit in order for another classic power fantasy is like Batman. In order for Batman to work on a story structure, you have to have a corrupt police force.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Reacher hits
Psychotic villains.
hits all these notions of a power fantasy, and he doesn't get. He gives better than he gets.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Dave mentioned that. Like most heroes in hero fantasies get their asses handed to them at some point.
They're receiving more than they're giving.
Yeah, and he does.
He gave out a lot more than he received, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Did anyone read the preface to the book?
It was a long. I don't
remember.
Because the author talks about that.
Oh, really?
Really?
And that
I
was
read that.
That was a choice of his to make Reacher that character.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The character
Gotta
that
go
was
back
competent.
and read the preface.
Yes.
I'll see if I did. It was back when I first read it.
Yeah.
So this time when I went
I
back
don't think
to
it's
it,
on the audio.
I don't think it's on the audio, so I'm
I have to go back and
He
get
created
the hardcover.
Reacher that way.
when
specifically.
I went back through it again, I listened to parts of the audiobook just to refresh, and so that must be why I didn't get the preface.
I'll go back and reread that.
Because
That sounds interesting.
underdog movies and heroes are okay, but there has to be a time where, you're just going to run into a good guy that's just going to kick your ass no matter what. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not this, yay, I come back at the end. No.
And one of the things that he pointed out is that the trend at the time were for the heroes that weren't enough and weren't enough and weren't enough and finally pushed through at the end.
Mm-hmm. Read a bunch of those too.
And he said
He didn't want to do that.
he didn't want to jump on the bandwagon because if the bandwagon already exists, it's too late to jump on it.
Mm.
Yep.
So you
Well-
have to come up with something different.
That's a fair point.
I like Reacher. I like the character.
The character's pretty unique in that he's very glib. He
I mean, he's intelligent. There's no, observant, intelligent. He's capable.
Yeah, he's a detective.
Yeah.
He's that good combination.
And he lives life on his terms now.
Yeah.
He has lived most of his life with others giving him orders.
Yeah.
He is finally able to just do it himself.
He's that
I respect
combination of, observational intelligence and brawn, like brain and brawn.
Yeah.
It's not just he's not just the muscle, but he's also not just a guy who figures everything out and then sends the muscle to get
Right.
Bond is described as a blunt instrument in the James Bond novels.
Right.
Yes.
He refers to himself as a blunt instrument at one point, and that which made me made the connection.
Right.
But he is not like Bond needs the direction. Reacher doesn't.
No.
He can figure it out on himself.
Reacher's like maybe a blunt instrument, but he's more like a sharp axe.
Mhm.
As a blunt instrument, where once he gets in a direction, he's just going through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I also like
He
that.
thinks ahead,
Yeah, he
like
does.
extremely ahead, when kind of like a James Bond.
Well, like
type
that
of
like that
character.
ambush
He
in the
doesn't
trees.
really-
He noticed that copse of trees. He noticed that
Yeah.
he had already filed
Figured
that
out,
information
I
away.
could do something with that.
Yeah. So when the time came and he needed to, he had it. He already had it figured out.
Which is great because, especially for the detective, I mean, there's so many things around this town that I've seen for years that, like, I remember seeing a Shell station. What street was that? Like, I
Right.
don't always file things away for later,
No, he's good. I like that.
Yeah, my favorite fight scene is actually the last one where they're going in and infiltrating the
Warehouse.
with the piles of money.
Right.
But just before the shit hits the fan, he sees the kids, and he has his inner monologue of like, "I am never this lucky. The gods have smiled upon me. like every which way I have planned this out, it doesn't go well."
Right. And then there's the kids straight off.
It's like,
That never happened.
yes.
Good. The kids don't die.
He's like 35 years of bad luck finally.
They didn't do that in the TV show.
No.
he didn't.
But like that moment
Yeah,
just
that
made
moment
me
was-
laugh so hard.
Right? Because he thought, I don't have to go searching. They're right there. It's
They're there.
awesome.
Gets the kids out, gets them to safety,
Yeah.
and then there's a line in Tarzan that he kind of, the geometry of death. He uses that in this. I'm sure the author didn't. 'Cause I first heard that term in Tarzan, but it's the same geometry of death when he's talking about the angles of shotgun blasts and it, like that. I just really loved that take on the fight. So
Yeah. Oh, things we didn't like.
qualms, issues, concerns.
Okay, Justin, go ahead.
Where do we begin?
Oh, Justin knows just where to start.
My biggest problem
Number one.
is how to put it.
How to put it nicely.
He did not do his homework
He
with
didn't.
firearms.
He didn't do his homework with ballistics and firearms at all. Because in the beginning of the book, they have trouble identifying one of the bodies because his face had been blown off by a .22 long rifle round.
And I'm like, yeah, no.
And
See,
that
this is where
will,
my
that
ignorance
will
guns.
a .22 long rifle is a little itty bitty cartridge
Tiny?
that is very tiny.
Oh, okay.
And usually, if it enters a person's skull, it will rattle around inside
about
their
the
skull.
That's gonna blow my head off? Okay,
Yeah.
no.
It's
Not gonna blow your face
before it
Don't
will
worry about
exit the head quite often.
Yeah.
If I get shot with something that
And-
size and you can't recognize me,
The-
shame on you
him
all.
talking about the guy being shot from a distance with a silenced .22,
It's not happening.
it's not going to go through the guy's back of the head and then
Ouch.
destroy the front of his
Yeah.
face to the point where they can't recognize
No.
it. It just
Yeah.
doesn't happen. You know,
If it's that size, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just one of the many
It's gotta
problems.
be. It's gotta be like.
yeah.
It's gotta be
And-
like the strongest, teeniest, tiniest bullet
That's-
alive.
yeah,
That's fair, but I just rolled with it. I wouldn't even think
yeah.
about it.
I to be
What
honest,
Justin's been through.
No.
He's listened to it 3 times and he read it once.
and
So
and
4
I-
times through
and
this book.
It didn't really catch until the last time I listened to it.
Oh, I
Wait
caught
a
it
minute.
as soon as I read it. I'm like, that's not happening.
I'm like, yeah, because I just watched a few videos on some things.
I'll go ahead and say
And-
because I don't know ballistics, that didn't even register as a problem. But now that I know,
Yeah.
okay, I can see why that's
And-
a major
And
issue.
his talk about these shotguns and stuff.
The range was a
The
little.
range was way off because usually you figure for an 18.5-inch barrel and you're shooting buckshot, say, you're going to get an inch of spread for every what?
Foot?
No,
God.
no,
It depends on what they're
It's like-
using.
Yeah.
If a
A triple-aught buckshot
triple out buckshot
with, with a short barrel.
with a
it's
short
just gonna
barrel,
immediately just
no,
yeah.
it doesn't actually.
Well, maybe just buckshot.
At
It
21
Bird game.
at 21 feet, you might have a 6-inch spread.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
this,
not-
and in the book, he's talking about it, taking out 2 people in 12 feet. It just doesn't happen.
It hasn't.
You know.
It hasn't spread yet.
It hasn't spread yet. At 12 feet, it's a slug that big around.
Yeah. Now, if it was bird game, yeah.
No,
It would
actually,
just pepper you.
at
At 12 feet. It's
at
still
12
gonna
feet,
be
it's
wide
still in such a
Yeah.
confined space. It's getting it.
Yeah.
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 I didn't even think about that.
That is my biggest gripe about the book is his ballistics. He did do all right with the ballistics for the Desert Eagle 44 Magnum. The only problem is the actual gun that they have in the particular Desert Eagle that they have back in 1997 when the book was written. That was practically a brand new thing out.
I remember that because that was.
And
there was,
in the book, it's the
It'd been his gun for like years, and
yeah, it was a fairly new weapon,
but in the book, it
because
wasn't.
it had the long. If I remember right, he used it was the 13-inch or 14-inch barrel on it.
I honestly don't
It was a hunting model,
Yeah.
and
And it was in,
when it was written, there was no way the
invented
character
in
could have
Israel.
had it
Yeah, it
for
was
that long.
but
that
An
it was
Israeli
said.
weapon.
Because it
and-
wasn't.
Now, granted, the guy's a big guy. Sure, he's big enough to hold on to a gun like that and be able to get consecutive follow-up shots with it. But I just,
There was a lot of
It
if
just-
you know your firearms and ballistics.
if you're an
Stretching
if you're an
believability.
older police detective, I'm sorry, but a Desert Eagle and 44 Magnum is not going to be your number one choice for a personal weapon, because damn, those things kick.
Right, but it's what Clint Eastwood used in so it has some coolness in.
Clint East, yeah,
That's why he picked the.
yeah, but
Because Clint Eastwood
But he
used
still
it in
picked the
Dirty
wrong
Harry.
model.
Yeah.
he
He
could
picked the
have
new
gone-
model that didn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
far back enough.
just
But yeah. Well, we know why the author picked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's what I'm saying.
but yeah.
but what else? There was something else and I can't remember what it was.
It's okay. I don't know.
I'll let you go for the moment, and I'll probably remember.
Well, you'd already complained to me about the ballistic stuff before I started reading it, so I knew all about that. I don't know.
You had mentioned Britishisms.
There were some Britishisms early on.
I didn't catch it.
There were just a few, like when he was described turning on the radio and tuning to a channel, he didn't use like what we would use. He used some other phrase, but it's been a while. I don't remember what it was.
Character did grow up in Germany. I'm
Okay, fair. That's fair.
I'm
And a lot
gonna.
of other places.
That's fair. It's just it's if you're
I will
writing
not
an
prize it.
American book starring Americans, it's supposed to be very patriotic.
Mhm.
You need to get your American terms down. That's all I'm saying. But okay, I'll give it to Reacher did grow up, but sometimes it wasn't Reacher, it was Finley or somebody else. So it was the
Okay,
author
makes sense.
using the Britishism,
Well-
not Reacher thinking it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there is a difference there, but that's a minor thing, and when it comes right down to it, I don't.
And I would even give that to him because, I mean, as someone who is obsessed with British culture, sometimes I find myself saying random things that I never before in my life.
Right.
It was like I once I referred to my phone as my mobile. I'm like, why did I say mobile?
Right.
I never say mobile.
My mobile phone.
It's
yes, of
my
course.
it's either my cell phone or what's my phone? Like,
Yeah. No, and I get that. So, but I'm just
Doesn't
saying,
he
those were
refuse to trunk as a boot on a couple of occasions?
in this one. I don't remember. Maybe.
I don't remember.
I don't recall.
But we've had a few books like that where there were some Britishism here and there, and it is okay. I actually really liked the book. I don't think I had any real major qualm. I mean, there were some characters I didn't like, but he wrote them well enough that I wasn't supposed to like them. I
That
didn't
was
like
the
them.
intent of the
That was the
author,
point.
yeah.
So bravo! I didn't like the bad guys. You know what I mean? Like. I didn't want to be right about the card, but I was, and that's okay.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming until
Right.
at the end.
But I caught the foreshadowing right away, so I was like, oh.
That kind of sucks for you.
I didn't want it to be right. I didn't want to be right. Every night, because sometimes you just don't want to be right.
Yeah.
Like, and then I felt bad because they'd been at the factory this whole time, scooping money and being all, and I was like, oh, that
I
sucks.
just gave it up for
Oh,
him.
he's seen it.
I just
Oh, okay.
remembered
He's already at that
something.
point.
I finished.
He just finished.
Oh,
Well,
you're
he
done?
finished. He's done. He's good. So, but I knew he was already past that point anyway. So, so I was like, man, because I'd actually seen the show first, and in the show, he takes him to a safe house for a while. So it makes you not realize Picard's bad.
Yeah.
The show helps a little bit, in that. But I saw it coming. I turned to Justin. I'm like, oh, he's gonna be a bad guy, isn't he? Oh, I don't want to be a bad guy. Don't tell me.
I just remembered something that
That I complained
bugged
about.
me. No,
Bugged you.
that
Bugged
bugged
you.
me.
Good. Tell me.
If you're a guy in the South in the 1990s and you come into a lot of money and you're living in a small town, you are not going to buy a matched pair of Bentleys,
No.
Right.
Because if you're a guy from the South, by golly, I don't care who you are, you're buying American at that time.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
In
fair.
Georgia.
Southern
In Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're getting.
You're gonna buy a pair of replica Robert E. Lees.
But you're not going to be buying
But you're not gonna buy a Bentley.
Bentleys.
No.
Right.
You
What
know,
was the big car back then? Like I can see it. It was the
Or
almost like
General Lee, that's what they call
a
it.
limo. God, I can't. It was
Cadillac.
Cadillac. That's
yeah.
what.
Cadillacs. Yeah.
You'd be
You'd
buying Cadillac.
That's what Ric Flair had. That's what Dusty
You would
Rhodes
be
had.
driving a Cadillac or
And maybe get a pink one.
or
for your
or get
wife.
a sports car for the wife,
Yeah, and
You
that,
know.
that would be a Porsche.
Yeah.
or
Because
something.
always rich people always had Porsches.
Nice.
Not
but
Yeah.
a Bentley.
but by
No.
golly, you weren't going to be buying a Bentley.
And then have the whole Porsche or Porsche conversation. So that was what they did.
There's no A at the end.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Continue.
Continue.
I just had to throw that out there.
yeah. Okay, things you didn't like. Papa, Wayne.
A couple of the scenes of the victims of the bad guys were a bit more graphic than I care for.
Right. All right, that's fair. Yeah, they were pretty graphic. They
I
were
thought
worse.
that made the story.
Well, yes, but not everybody likes stuff that graphic, so that's fair.
So,
You don't have to like it. That's okay.
so that was one of the things that bugged me. The ballistics didn't bother me because I don't know ballistics, so it was like whatever.
Yeah.
Can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
All right,
come on.
David, you've got a list.
I like the story, so
Okay.
Bring out the list.
I just didn't because I know I know a lot of police protocol, and when they were detaining him, they wouldn't have taken him to a prison because that's when you're incarcerated. They'd leave you in a detention cell in the jail. So when they took him to the prison, and then they put him in the lifers, and then he almost got killed. Oh my God, he would have had a lawsuit, and then that would have been the end of the story.
Let me ask you something though. This is Southern Protocol in 1997.
It's the same thing.
But
You
wasn't
know
that the
modern protocol.
wasn't that the
Still.
whole point though? Was they were trying to
The bad guys are trying to get him killed in
Of
prison.
course, but still,
So-
I mean, and with him as being a basically military police, he would have known that. He's saying, "Why are you taking us to a prison? You just need to leave us in a detention cell until." Because it's the same thing. Like if you're in a drunk tank, they're not going to take you to prison. They're going to leave you in a
Leave you in the
detention
drunk
cell.
tank all weekend. Yeah.
So when they did that here, but then I'm thinking about the Britishisms, and I go, maybe
Right.
that's what they do over in England,
I don't know,
and
maybe
he
he didn't know.
he didn't know better.
Right.
But
Yeah.
now, that's what I'm thinking. But here,
That's
that wouldn't have happened here.
That's a
at
fair point.
all.
And if this is written in 97, there's no Google.
I know.
Right,
You
yeah.
know, whatever research the author could do
He was probably basing it off of what he knew.
was
But
limited.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now
That's
that
true.
I'm thinking about it now, but no, that wouldn't have happened here at all. The ballistics. I mean, I fully agree with you on
Yeah.
that. It's like, what, a 22? What are
Yeah.
you doing?
And I was just refreshing my memory. A shotgun, depending on the choke of the shotgun, you get 1 inch of spread for every yard.
Yard.
Yeah,
okay.
3 feet.
So for every 3 feet.
So 3 feet is
So
it's only
at-
going like
At
that.
15 yards, you have
Like maybe like
a
that.
15-inch spread.
Yeah.
So
So at
You mentioned that.
7 yards, 21 feet, 7 yards,
Yeah.
you're only going to have 7 inches. You're not going to.
Because the way.
And at 12, that's only 4 yards. 4
Yeah.
inches, you're not going to take out 2 guys with 4 inches.
No, you're gonna
spread.
put a hole in one.
Yeah. Not unless they're standing back to back. And even then, it's not going to go through the one. Yeah.
if you had a slug, that'd be different.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah,
Shot.
okay, that's just a little thing. Oh, I didn't like how they described him in the book. I liked him described better in the TV show. Because the TV show portrayed what I thought Reacher should have been in the book. Because 6'2" at 190 is extremely thin. Extremely thin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he would
It
be,
is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because military weight for 6'2" is 210.
Yeah.
So he would have been underweight.
Way underweight.
Yeah.
Way underweight. Because I'm 6'3", but most people wouldn't guess that I'm pushing 280.
Right.
Not at that height.
Yeah, 6'3".
No.
He's only 6'2" at 190. He's like almost 100 pounds lighter than me.
Yeah. And
He looks
and a little
thick.
bit taller. He
he'd
wouldn't be buff.
really thin.
Yeah. he'd
Not
be-
like what you
he'd
see
be
on
like-
here.
Which,
Right.
if you think about it, in Britain, tall, gangly people are common.
Yeah.
So
Right, but he wouldn't have been buff. He wouldn't
wouldn't-
have been able to punch people
No
like
no,
that.
way.
he
Fight
wouldn't.
like
He
that.
wouldn't
He'd
have
be
been. You know.
He could probably throw a basket real well for basketball. That'd be
Yeah,
it.
because
Like,
6'2", 190. That's
Yeah?
really
No,
thin.
that's
yeah,
true.
it's like zero.
So
body
that
fat.
kind of bug. I'm like, what? No way,
I
man.
hadn't thought about that, but you're right.
Yeah,
And especially, I mean,
because they talk about him being
maybe that way he's that way in the book because he never gets to eat any food. Maybe
Right,
he's
yeah.
starving to death. But
Interrupted.
here in the TV show, my God, he's eating the whole buffet. So yes, he's gonna look
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
His meals keep getting
Yeah.
interrupted
I know.
by arrests.
Maybe that's why he's 190.
Yeah.
There's just like some dumb little things in here that. I mean,
Yeah, because even most pro wrestlers are in the 200s. You know, Mick Foley was 230.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
When they killed I'm not sure what part that was. We've gotten the car into the airport. When do you take the car to the airport?
Oh,
Oh,
he
that was
went and
after he
took
killed the
the
Venezuelans
Venezuelans.
at
the
They were in the
coconut
trunk,
trees.
and he went and
Yeah, that's when
hid
he
the
took them.
car.
Took him to the
at
long-term parking.
parking. Nobody's
Yeah.
going to find that out.
I forgot about that.
I kind of had a problem with that.
Oh, I didn't.
Because
Nobody checks the long-term park.
Especially
No.
back in the
It's-
90s.
In the
It's
90s?
yeah, Yeah.
And now, no,
Yeah,
now
maybe-
since 9/11, yeah, but back in the 90s, no.
And they'll have cameras all over the parking lot now.
Yeah.
But back then, no.
Because I keep on
You
forgetting
store your
it's-
car in long-term parking at your own risk. Don't expect your vehicle to be here there when you get
I
back.
keep on forgetting it's 1997 because now it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, but 1997, that's believable.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, this one annoyed the crap out of me big time. When they went to the airport to pick up Molly,
Oh,
and
I'm so
Reacher
pissed
was
off.
having problems walking through the crowd. I don't have problems at all. People spread like the Red Sea when I walked by through the grocery
6'2"
store.
and 100.
Yeah, he was 190.
Yeah,
He was
they're
skinny.
looking at now.
Right, but if he looked the way he was supposed to,
Yeah,
no,
that
he would have been
people
able to
look
get
like,
through.
whoa.
Sorry, yeah, he wouldn't have had a hard time getting through the
Yeah,
crowd.
so that lady getting killed at the airport, yeah, that wouldn't have happened. He would have met up with her, and that would have been fine.
That
But I understand they did it
needed
for the
the
story,
end,
but that annoyed the crap out of
that
me.
annoyed me too. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it did.
Yeah.
I didn't like that she died of this man.
It's like,
He should have been able to get to her.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
if you can kill all those guys in the house by
Right, and the
You could
bathroom
get a hold
fight,
of her.
he'd get a hold of her.
And
Put it
here's
that way.
another one that I thought was funny. With Reacher being so highly observant, how come he didn't see the bum under the underpass?
Oh yeah, the guy surprised him. He missed him. Yep.
He didn't see the bum under the underpass. With him being there forever, just watching him, watching the building and everything,
Yeah.
you
Didn't hear
never
nothing,
saw
anything.
the bum.
Yeah, the
That's-
bum. Good thing the bum was a nice guy.
Yeah,
That's a good
He would have
point.
died.
because
He's a bad guy.
as soon as the guy came out, I'm like, oh man, it's probably the Kleiner, one of the Kleiner guys.
Yeah, right. You're like,
And
oh
then
crap.
end up being a bum.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, whoa. I mean, I caught that. I'm like, well, that one was a weird one. Oh, I got so much notes here. I'll just look for the sad faces. Oh man, there's a lot.
Sad face.
So I think that we need to take David's notes and typeset them and create a special bonus book
Yeah.
for fans of the show.
Special
You
clip
want to know
notes.
all of David's?
Honestly, if you were fighting the Kleiner kid, would you have jumped into the pool?
No, I wouldn't have jumped into the
I
pool with
wouldn't
that.
have.
He's Aquaman. I'm telling you.
I'm sorry, but no, I wouldn't have jumped into the pool.
It's a perfect day first win.
Oh, and I'm sorry,
I
but
think it was
when
outrageous.
they were crying that, oh, if Picard doesn't make a phone call, we're gonna kill. I would have taken the risk and killed the Picard and tried to look for him anyway.
Right.
If she died, oh well.
You didn't want her to die, though. You liked her.
Yeah, she was cute. I like the new girl better though.
Oh yeah. Season 2.
Yeah. Other than that, it was. Yeah, there's some like dumb little things, except for the ending. I just thought that when they were in such a dramatic situation where they basically saved each other's life, and they've already been intimate together, I thought that would have brought them a little bit closer than, oh, I don't like what you're going to be do for a living, so I'm going to leave.
Well, it was the.
I thought that was
Just
kinda
what you're doing
lame.
for a living. It was. They
I
both had
wanna
different
be-
life goals.
I want to be free, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry, something that dramatic like that kind of would have changed my life goals.
Well,
Because this chick saved my life. Maybe she's the one, and I would have went, no, I'm gonna leave. She wants to become the mayor.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no. I thought
I'd
that was
be
kind of. I
Mrs.
thought that was
Mayor.
kind of dumb.
you'd be
So would
Mrs. Mayor,
I.
right?
So
Yeah.
would I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'd have a.
Yeah, but it's book 1 of a series. He's got to have more. You're not gonna all hang out in
I
my
know. I
grave.
understand that, but
yeah.
when
Possible
when
new
you
job as a quiet police officer.
yeah.
Well, some people also go the
would work
opposite
too.
way. If you're
Yeah.
that close to death, sometimes you can't be with someone because you're still so messed up from getting.
Well, because
You know.
the shower
Yeah, but
scene.
he'd been through a bunch of stuff in
Well,
the military,
yeah.
so for
I'm
him
talking
this
about
wasn't
her.
his first.
I'm talking about her.
Right.
I mean, not saying that
Yeah.
she did react that way, but
Yeah.
maybe that was her way of saying, maybe I need time, like
at the
without
very end, he's talking.
without trying to hurt him.
There
you
was
know?
2 things that I knew we were done. Because they had the shower together, and it's like he tells her what he did to the five guys, and that level of brutality scared her.
Oh, he got a burger?
No, when he did.
When he killed the guys at the Hubble's house.
Yeah,
He got it!
Okay, anyway.
Five Guys burger.
Sorry, I hate Five Guys. I'm going to interrupt.
Anyway.
But
You
that
almost got
yeah.
sprayed on.
Mike almost got sprayed on.
But that level of brutality scared her.
I guess, yeah.
And then there was something else, I forget it because I just listened to it.
But yeah, I mean, in a way, I can see what you're saying. But I think it did it even in the book and on the TV show, where she was trying to be the intimidating girl. Yeah, I want you to come over here before. Don't make me kick your ass, kind of thing. I'm like, for a little girl like that to say that to something like.
But it's cute when she says it to him.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought it was cute. It's like, you're not doing nothing. Throw you around like a bag of groceries.
But one of the things it mentioned that he's thinking about, because all of these agencies, the feds, the governor, all these groups are coming in,
And he didn't want anything to do with it.
If he had stayed,
He
There would have
had-
been questions.
he said I would have been spending at least 2 years in prison.
Probably.
There's at least, there's several corpses that have his name on them.
Yeah.
And so, I need to leave now.
Right, and she wasn't
And she
going
was
to go with
like,
him. She
this
could have
is
said,
my
well,
town. I
can't
need
go.
to fix it.
Yeah, I just like, oh man, that kind of sucks.
It does.
But then again, he got his little
Other girl, and the
the
next
new
yeah.
army girl, which I'm
Yeah.
like, oh wow, she's better.
So
Upgrade.
I liked Roscoe.
I
liked
too.
Roscoe.
And it says right in the book that he committed her phone number to memory. So if he happens to be in Georgia again, he'll probably end up going through
Oh,
Margrave.
yeah.
And, is it clear yet? Okay, let's go to your hotel room.
You have a son that's how old? That would be oh crud.
Well, gotta go.
You named him Joe. Oh.
No.
Like they say in your taxi.
Sorry.
What, didn't, somebody get a dog that they named Jack?
Yeah,
In the
in the
series,
show.
In the
In the
show.
show.
No, it's in the book too.
Is it in the book too?
No.
I don't think it was in the book.
Not
but,
the first book.
No.
But in the show,
Stray dog.
the dog that the guy was mistreating because it was his uncle's and he wasn't giving it water. So Finley takes it. He names him Jack.
Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's in the book too.
No.
Dad just finished the book.
Alright.
Literally just finished the book in the last hour. It's not in there. It's in the show.
Stop trying to make fetch
And
happen.
I've been through it 3 times, and I'm
Okay,
pretty
okay,
sure
okay.
there's no dog in there.
Yeah.
Yep. But I still liked that part because it
Yeah.
showed, good character on Reacher.
You could tell that he likes animals better than
Humanized
humans.
him.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Our final thoughts.
Well, Maylene still got
Melanie,
Yeah,
I'm
she's
sorry, you
good.
still have your bat. I forgot. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, there's
And
2
so
more.
does he.
people.
Two
He's
more
still
has
your
to
bad.
complain. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I had too much to complain about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's okay.
Dave wrote a book.
I actually don't have too much to
Well,
complain about this book.
I do it every chapter. I write my likes and dislikes for every single chapter.
Yeah, I don't really have too many dislikes for this book because, like I said, a lot of the stuff that bothered other people, I didn't notice. Like, I don't know much about ballistics, so I didn't know enough
Right.
to
Well, I
like.
saw that immediately.
Like,
22.
Now that
That's
I
not
know,
happening.
like you guys said, I was like, now that I know, I can see why that would bother people because it's like,
But no,
if
yeah.
I knew ballistics, I'd be probably pissed too. Like, really, But since a lot of it was stuff that I didn't really notice, it didn't really bother me in the moment.
Especially 10 gauge shotguns.
Yeah.
I go, yeah, they're really cool, but those things are.
Oh, in the book, the Ithacas.
Yeah, it's just like those are so uncommon that you're really not going to see those.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise I didn't really have too much that I disliked about it. Not even the length bothered me, so I'm gonna pass it on to you.
Wayne brought it up earlier, the brutality with the crucifixion stuff.
I thought that was cool.
Here's my problem with it. Okay, I get
Their body weight would have ruined the drywall and they would have fallen on the floor.
that too.
They use a stud finder.
That's the scene you need to see.
Or he had balls of steel and it held him there.
He didn't have his balls.
Oh yeah, they cut him off and put him in her mouth.
Yeah, that
That's
was
the
actually
problem.
something the TV show fixes. I think a little bit.
Georgia mountain oysters.
No, thank you.
But the problem is, okay, Criminal Empire, I get that you're evil for the sake of evil and you're making a show of force, but that is such an extreme show of force that attracts news, that
It does.
attracts, like, that brings a whole level of attention
That
to
you
your
shouldn't
criminal
have done, yeah.
empire.
It does.
That's like mafiosa brutality
Yeah.
in this little Georgia town.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, but if I had, if my son was like the Kleiner son, I would fear that the kid's going to give me away, and I would probably just make him go away.
Like,
because the Kleiner dad has already killed everyone. I mean,
Like I'm
it's like,
saying,
who cares?
there's there,
He has a
they-
crap
they-
ton of money. He's still young. He
They
can make
fixed
another
that in
son.
the TV show.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did.
there's an 11 o'clock news, a local news guy who's going, what happened?
Local
Yeah.
police chief crucified in his own bedroom.
Like
Yeah.
that.
It would just
Yeah.
be easier to just make him disappear in a farm field somewhere.
Yes,
And then 50 years later, oh wow, there's some bones. Who was that?
that's what happens.
How long has that car been in the extended parking?
That's what happens in real life. People disappear with no, I get the idea.
Yes, you want to send a message, but you send a message by sending an ear or a finger with their
To the-
signet ring to the person you want the message sent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just send a picture.
I felt the
Picture with a bullet hole in their head.
Yeah, I felt the level of brutality was so over the top with that stuff that it undermined the criminal empire.
Okay, that's fair.
You know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think maybe it was the author trying to be a little bit dramatic.
Oh, I get it. Like,
absolutely.
hey, 90s kid, 90s in the comics world, grim, gritty 90s violence was everywhere. So I get it, but this was just a little. It undermined the purpose of the.
Yeah, it wasn't really.
Yeah.
It wasn't really required.
Yeah.
They could just say, "Oh yeah, they it looks like they tortured them and they nailed them to the wall so they wouldn't get away, and then that would have been it." And I would have been fine with that.
Yeah. So like the brutality didn't.
Joey sleeping with the fishes.
Yeah.
Like that's
Or it would have been just as good. Like, has anybody seen so and so? And you just never see him again.
They're gone.
And you don't know what happened.
Like a drummer in Spinal Tap, just gone. All right, that was my complaints. All right, final thoughts, Justin.
I think they should make a TV show about this.
And if they do true to form, there are 28 other books as of 2023.
Wow.
With another one on the way by the end of this year.
Ooh.
So if the guy who plays Reacher is still alive, I guess he has 28 seasons.
Just
Right.
I was going through. He has done since 1997. He has done one Reacher book every year.
That's not bad.
Oh, like the Oz books.
Every year he has done one book every
That's
year.
impressive.
That's really impressive.
Clive,
Especially how long that one is.
Clive
Yeah.
Cussler has done
Ridiculous.
3 books a year.
And
Oh well.
and they're all the same length or more.
Long
Yeah.
like that though.
They're all very long, very and
Well, it makes me feel like I've done nothing with my life.
and
Hey, he's
I've-
making money.
I have read the second book to this, and it is just as good as the first.
Like
Oh, you've already read book 2?
Yes.
Is this what we're watching on TV?
No, that
Okay.
one's like
Several
4.
books down.
Book 4 or
This,
something?
yeah, it's like book 4 or 5.
Yeah, because I noticed like in the TV show, it's like 2.5 years later. It's like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
they do in between that?
There were other books. They're
Yeah.
skipping
In
ahead.
the second series of Reacher, second season of Reacher, they mention some names from the Tom Cruise movies,
Yeah.
which
Of characters.
which takes place between
Book 1.
Killing Floor and
and-
the second season. There's a 2.5 year gap in there where
Some of those stories.
Some of
took
those
place.
stories,
So since they've already done movies based on those books,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
they
Yeah.
might as well skip to something
Right.
that hasn't been done. And I
And
get
Tom
that.
Cruise is a producer on the TV show.
So there's that.
Is he?
He is.
Oh no.
That's how they were able to get the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had the rights to the books. That's how they were able to make the shows. His company's producing the TV show.
It's still a good show.
But I think I plan on listening to or reading whenever
more.
I have a
Yeah,
chance.
they're good.
Reading more of them.
They're good.
Mm-hmm.
Bunny.
I was thinking about. I liked the bit where he's with Picard in the car, and they've got the couple guys behind him, and how he manufactures the flat, and then how he ends up blowing those guys away, all that, and the money out on the freeway. I forgot that whole. I liked that whole part in there, and I just forgot to mention it. I liked it. But I liked the story overall.
There's a couple gripes in there. I'm like, it's just personal preference.
Right,
kind
but
of thing.
but I would recommend it. It's a good book. I enjoyed
the
it.
fact that he actually got to eat his pie at the end.
It was okay.
It was okay.
I've had better.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I enjoyed reading the book.
I'm very impressed that you actually read that whole thing in one day.
That's
I think that's a record.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I started at 6:30 a.m.
woo!
Yeah.
Finished it 12 hours later. Dang.
That's a lot of violence to squeeze into a day. Yeah.
Papa's gonna have some strange dreams tonight.
Yeah.
So I finally reached the point that my eyes just didn't want to focus, and I said, "Oh, it's 4:15. I'll drive over to Bonnie and Justin's house now and give my eyes a break from close-up reading."
I just imagine him doing this the whole ride, just wide-eyed.
I don't think I could have done that. I mean, I don't think I could have even sat there and watched episode after episode, all 8 episodes in one day like that. I don't think I could have done that.
It's a lot.
Oh yeah, that's a lot.
Well, it's 8
But-
hours, and
Yeah.
I did finish.
you did
Yeah.
finish. Good job.
I mean, good God. There's no way I would have been able to do that.
You okay? All right. Final
He
thoughts,
did it, but
David?
now he
Yeah,
sees
I mean-
spots in front of everyone's eyes.
I'd have to say that if I had to choose the book over the television show, I would choose the television show.
It's clear and concise.
Yeah.
It gets most of it.
It seems like it's a
across.
little bit more updated.
They killed a couple people out of order,
Yeah, I mean, I
and there were
wasn't
less
particularly
Venezuelans
worried.
in the show.
Yeah, I like the TV show better than the book, and I give the book like an 8 out of 10.
Oh, forgot that. Yeah, I'd give it. Yeah, I'd give it an 8, probably. Yeah.
8 out of 10's good.
Yeah. Really?
I like the book. I mean, I might, I'm definitely gonna watch the show because, like
Oh,
I
the show's
said,
good.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see how they did with that.
What's the show on?
Prime. Amazon Prime.
Okay.
So I'll
Not
definitely,
that they're giving us any kind of sponsorship or anything.
I'll definitely
But
watch
that's where
the
it
show to,
And that'd be
see what it
neat.
is. Right?
If they were a sponsor of our show, we got.
I have actually reached out to advertisers in the past to get sponsorships and stuff, and just nobody.
But I like
They
the
don't
book.
care.
No, it's that because. Sorry to cut you off. It's because every episode's inconsistent because every episode's a new topic. So some episodes get up into the thousands, while some episodes only hit a couple hundred
Because of the book.
Because of the book.
because of the
okay.
different.
Just
So
not everybody's interested in every book.
so no
Yeah.
advertiser's been willing to sign on.
If we could get, it kind of defeats the purpose because you want to read all books that we want to read, but
It's just basically random.
if we were to stick to books we knew were going to be popular, like
Yeah,
Now,
but-
if we consistently had 1,200 people watching
Yeah.
average per episode, then
yeah.
No,
we would
but every once in a while we do a weird offshoot and it only gets 100 downloads. And
Yeah.
So, but I
Which I'm fine with.
have reached out to advertisers in the past.
But I will continue with the book series. It's not going to be like high on my list of book series to get because I do have a couple other book series I'm kind of going through
I
right now.
got so many Clive Cussler books I have to read right now.
But I will eventually.
Yeah, I'd
get
read
to,
more.
I would read more Reacher
Probably like
books.
50.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I have no issue with reading more Reacher books.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'd even
I
though
think-
I'm not a fan of Tom Cruise at all,
Yeah.
I'd still read the books and watch the show.
I would say
I'll just have to ignore the the director part of it.
No, not director,
No.
producer.
Producer.
That just means he
Whatever.
puts his money in it and
Yeah.
he's finding
Yeah.
funding.
I
But-
didn't
Yeah,
even think
I'll
he does that.
steal
I
it-
think
I'll
he just
steal
puts
his
name on
money.
it.
But I agree, 8 to 8.5 for the book.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement. I'm gonna read probably the next novel as well because this was fun enough that it's like, okay, I want to
Piqued
see
your
the
interest.
Yeah.
I want to see
it's
the
good.
next adventure.
And I will warn you, there's a really good claustrophobic moment in the next novel. Just
Okay.
be warned.
Okay.
Like it's buried alive.
I'm not going to say any more.
Yeah,
It's
just
a
saying,
really good
there's-
claustrophobic moment. You get a little,
Mhm.
give you a little.
Okay, so Justin, this was your book, so you get to pick
You get to
this
pick
one.
from the TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
You get a good one.
They're all good.
Yes, sir.
The Glass Key.
By
Oh,
Dashiell Hammond.
yes.
Dashiell Hammett.
Hammett.
Is that your book?
This is
Yeah.
my book.
Yeah.
Gee, I couldn't tell.
That's an old 30s noir.
Detective
Yes.
Noir.
Here's the thing,
He's the
that-
same guy who wrote The Maltese Falcon, which
Yes.
I've read.
Dashiell Hammett is the guy credited for creating the noir detective.
Yeah.
This is not that. The Glass Key is the one time where he wrote a crime thriller. This is all about bad guys and mafia and crime.
It's not.
There is no good guy in this novel.
Okay, cool. I already have the book at home.
Nice. We
Like-
I already bought the whole list.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it really.
like it's about
I'll probably end up liking this one if it's all
Yeah.
about bad guys.
the main character is a fixer for the mob.
There you go.
When was this book written?
Like in the 30s.
Okay.
There was a movie adaptation, but it's lost media. The only thing that exists from the movie from the 40s is a poster. So there was a movie adaptation years ago, but nobody knows what it was.
It was just lost or destroyed.
It's lost.
Lost in time.
The master's gone. So the only thing we have is the poster.
Excellent. I look forward to it.
All right. So next time, The Glass Key
Dashiell Hammett.
by Dashiell Hammett. Bye.
Bye.
Eat your,
Goodbye.
eat your peach pie.
All right, coming up next is The Glass Key by Dashiell Hammett. This is, not going to lie, one of my favorite books of all time. I absolutely love this book. Originally published in Black Mask magazine in 1930. Was collected as by itself in 1931. Hey, I'm a pulp guy. What can I say? This is one of my favorites. I love Dashiell Hammett, Raymond Chandler. These guys just live and breathe in my heart. With that said, it's one of the greatest books ever written. And if you disagree with me, well, it's my podcast. Nah. You can go get your own. So please stick around and check out our discussion for The Glass Key. With that said, if you're interested in supporting this little podcast, hey, check out patreon.com/ I can't get through it. Check out patreon.com/ Destiny Comics. That's comics, COMIX, where you can get bookmarks and other book paraphernalia, as well as destinycomics.weebly.com, where you can go to our website directly and buy our books directly from us. Otherwise, a lot of our books are still available on Amazon.com. The 8-Bit Pulp series, all kinds of cool stuff. Maybe some new stuff coming your way. But yeah, check out, the little guy now and again. With that said, hope you enjoy these episodes. I hope you check out our Facebook and all those, and YouTube and all that kind of deep dive stuff. We do a lot for basically the little guys that we are. So thank you so much. Once again, patreon.com/destinycomics or destinycomics.weebly.com. And we thank you. We thank you from the bottom of our heart for any support, including a like, a share, anything to help get the word out about this little old podcast. From the bottom of our bookie little heart, to yours. Thank you. With that said, see you next time. Same book channel, same book time.